As you can see, the time is early in the morning. Looks like my weekend is very short. Um, what can I say? But here we are. We have to make do with the time that we have, and continue on. Continue on. Can you believe though? I just had completed doing a 50-minute presentation, and I have no sound. Okay, which means that was a trial run. So what we're gonna do is take it from the top. Welcome everybody to episode 11, installment number 2 of Heru, the Avatar, Christ in You. Alright, so we want to find out what an avatar is. Okay, we can think of an avatar much the way we use that in the gaming arena, where you being the sentient being that has the consciousness to move the items that are within the virtual realm. You become the avatar, or the consciousness. You're the consciousness that is actually animating this construct inside a universe. And so the same is what happens here with us. There is a higher consciousness that we all share, and because it comes into this realm, where there is differentiation and duality, it has to come in a small quantity. There's a quanta of itself that it puts into flesh, or that it puts into all the myriad of objects that are here in order to experience its own creation. So as individuals, composed of billions of cells, we become the avatar that moves these cells, that takes care of these cells, that ignores the cells. We become that avatar, and according to what drives us, we would either aspire to move up the tree and rediscover ourselves and actually enjoy the creation within this body of ours, and help others who are here to do the same. So that's an avatar. All right. The Christ is really what happens when the oil is made to rise. Okay, I have here, we're raising the frequency, and balancing the heart. And so the in physical terms, if we were to think of this tree as being superimposed on the body, there are organs and glands that actually create the fluids that allow for this substance called the elixir of life to rise. And once it crosses the final cross here, which resides at the base of the skull, then you will have become Christ, okay, or Christed, once you raise that fluid. And that fluid then is used to regenerate the brain cells, the nervous system, and so forth, as it cascades back down as the next outpouring of the Lord, if you will. Okay, so we're jumping in, and I want to recap what we talked about on our last episode 10. We were dealing with holidays, okay, and so I'm hoping everybody is preparing yourselves for the second coming of the Son. Originally, the first appearance of the Son, or the first celebration of the Son, was on Christmas Day, which marked the return from the infernal regions, or the outermost southern region of the Sun's orbit across the plane of the Earth, and its journey back northward to bring us more life. Okay, and that would be represented as the Christ child, or the son, the newborn Savior. Okay, so that newborn Savior is still on its way, and here we are, February 13th, 2017, and we're anticipating the second coming that's going to mark itself after it reaches the equator. After the sun reaches the equator, then we have the new year. It would be bringing in the new year, or the new life, as generated by the angles, or the degrees of the angles of the sun. So we're preparing. We have to prepare our bodies, our minds. We got to get our bodies cleansed. We have to have our plans all primed and ready, so that when that time comes, we'll be able to march on through. And March is correspondent to Mars. It's the time of initiation, or initiative, where we start really flowing with things. Okay, bringing in the new year. That's what the new year is about. Flourishing life. We have to ride on up to the summer months, and then go back down, and the sun will, of course, have to retreat again. All right, so that's the whole process of the cosmology, and we can verify it with our observations and our mathematical testing. We don't need equations. We can just do measurement. Okay, straight measurement. All right, so let's see. I want to make sure that I continue with the cohesion of the story here. Okay, so we have the second coming. That would be the resurrection, which is the Christ, or the Christing, where the ascension takes place. Let's see, and we have to realize that some of the things that I do with these episodes is I try to connect the dots. Okay, the dots being language. I try to connect the science, I try to make connections with the imagery, the symbology, so that we can, no matter what walk of life you're coming from, you can get a gist of the order of things, and then you can observe for yourself. You can go wherever in the world, and you can observe, and you can see that it is what it is. You don't have to rely on somebody to tell you, hey, this is what it is, because I'm the expert. This is this is a product of coming from the age, or the previous 2,000 years of the Piscean energy. Okay, that Piscean energy is one that requires belief, based on schools of thought, based on collective people being indoctrinated in certain denominations of faith. Okay, and of course, faith having been misused, because knowledge was not there to base faith, for faith to be based on. That caused a lot of problems. Now, what happens when let's see, the question is, what happens when there's no knowledge present for faith to be based on? You get three things. I come up with three things. You get three things that happens. Okay, number one, it leaves generations vulnerable to exploitation, sickness, death, and that death would be physical, spiritual, and moral. Okay, and so we've had that happen over a long haul, based on faith without grounds of knowledge. Okay, number two, okay, what happens with no knowledge? Okay, It makes for the perfect slave in its many stratifications. Okay, so you can have societies where you have the chattel slave, someone who is bound with iron shackles. You can have somebody who's considered an indentured servant, who's enslaved just economically. You can have somebody who actually is making money, but because they're bound by their desires and their aspirations to be ultra rich or elite, they're willing to do anything so that they don't lose their position in society. Okay, and even your elites are slaves because they have external extringent guides. They have extringent promptings that allow them to function in limited ways. Okay, so number three, the third thing that it does is it perpetuates division such that corrective action is virtually impossible. Okay, so this is why I do what I do. I try to make sure that as long as there is a blueprint that gives us all of the answers that is necessary to correct the errors of the ages, or the eras, errors and era. Yeah, the words have to be related there. As long as there is the ability to correct that through presenting of this knowledge, then that's why I'm here. Okay, and so we're going to move forward with this corrective knowledge, and hopefully we'll be able to prepare ourselves so that we can actually enact it. And this is what Heru is really about. It's about putting the knowledge into action. Okay, knowledge can come from this level right here. Okay, but if you don't know how to put it into its order, to balance it, and then make it your fuel to move up, then we're just spinning our wheels. We're just being the quote unquote conscious community, but not going anywhere. So still bickering, still fantasizing, still playing with each other's emotions, and still desecrating the land. Okay, so we have to figure out, okay, how are we going to do better? And this is a path.